In Genesis 3, God put a tree in the Garden of Eden that if they ate of it would cause a lot of pain and chaos. And God said, don't eat of it. But he let them choose. Seems like a recipe for disaster. You would think he would have known that they would choose. So why give them the choice, right? The Lord's thinking more long term than that. Adam and Eve didn't know that the snake was the devil. The snake was a part of good creation in their minds. We went down to Kirby Park to hold a snake because we wanted to put ourselves in the place where they were. Now I got to admit, Jared and I, well maybe more just me, was a little bit scared of holding the snake. When it starts slithering around, you feel like, oh, I'm doomed.
Snake on your face.
Yeah. Not a fan. And then, of course, the guy says...
I wonder if there are enough rangers on site to pull her off.
Yeah, you reckon? Which, I don't know if he was joking or not, but it didn't make me feel any better. That snake is the devil. In the Bible, that represents the devil. And it represents that when you dance with the devil, it only leads to chaos and pain. It comes down to choice. If you don't have a choice, then you don't have a real relationship. And so in the Garden of Eden, Adam and Eve have a choice because what God's looking for is a real relationship with people. And they mess it up, of course. But God was also smart enough to know that in time, there was going to be Jesus, and there was going to be a whole heap of history take place. And in time, we would learn what evil was, and in the future, we wouldn't make that same bad choice. So yes, God knew, but there was no other way to get the ultimate goal of people and God in relationship without there being choice.
All right, your turn.
Luckily, we had a trainer on hand. Why the snake was even there in the garden is a complicated question, because that raises the whole topic of the devil. Was there evil already in the world before Adam and Eve sinned? It raises some pretty interesting questions, and theologians debate them a lot. You're just going to have to hang and wait for us to get back to some of these big questions in the videos that are coming. If you want to marry a girl, you want her to love you back. So you give her a choice. And she might say no. And of course, you'd be heartbroken. But what if you knew that by saying no, she would then go away from you and experience all these other guys that were no good and eventually realize you were good after all? When Adam and Eve sinned, they came into the knowledge of good and evil. They never knew evil before, and they only kind of knew a little bit about good by experiencing a good garden. As the human race has experienced evil, Hitler, Stalin, all the chaos of death and disease and all the things that have gone on, we've learned that we don't like that. And it's also provided contrast to show us that good is really good. I imagine if you took Adam and Eve back to the Garden of Eden now and said, don't eat the fruit, they wouldn't. They learned their lesson. And so like the girl that says no to the guy, but then goes off and has a whole series of terrible guys, and she comes back and says, you know what, I should have said yes to you in the first place. Humans, we've gone off to do our own thing, but we're learning that, you know, we actually did want to do what God wanted after all. There's a process, it's taking place. So God allowed that choice because he wants us to love him. And I don't know about you, but I love him. And there are a lot of people that love him. And more the world is learning to love him. His ways are so good.